Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. Welcome to episode 166 of Messages for Lightworkers. And as you can see, I'm doing the show solo again this week. Val is still on holidays. I can't wait until she gets back so I can hear about all the fabulous things that she did. I made it a point not to text her, email her, no distractions, just total relaxation. So, hello, Tapioca Thievery. Hey, Karen, Gemma Lee, Joan Baker, Viviani Heller. We've got James Spear from Tampa. Thank you for being here. Dibs BK, hello. And let's see, Gold Monday has joined us as well. So thank you for being here. And for those of you that are just kind of behind the scenes and you just want to kind of lurk in the background and listen, that's perfectly acceptable as well. So just want to remind you to please like, share, and subscribe. Particularly, leave a comment at the end of the live stream. In the comment section, it really helps with the algorithm. And make sure that it's at least 7 characters, even if it's 7 emojis, whatever. That really helps. Also want to remind you, if you are interested in booking yourself in for a reading with me, it's marinasheartcentertarot.com. And you can go to the website and you can see what's available for readings. I can do them in 30 minutes. I can do them in an hour. You can have a combination, tarot, mediumship, one or the other combination, and so on. You can also take a look at some of the classes and courses that are on offer. Okay, some of them are like the Achieving Union course. It's a 30-day course, and it's self-directed. So you get to decide when you're going to do the course, rather than trying to fit it into my schedule. So every day you receive a short 5, maybe 10-minute video from me with some exercises that you can do during the day. And at the end of the 30 days, you have a much stronger union with spirit, with your guides as well. And the nice thing is, once you've got the all the links, you can go back. And if there's something that you need to review, you can always review it again. So that I'm very, very proud of the course. I think it's a good course. It's one that's a lot of fun. There's also the Change the Tape, which is it's generally about a 2.5 hour class, depending on the number of participants and the number of questions and things that come up. And that one is designed to identify the things that you believe about yourself that may or may not be true anymore, may or may not still resonate with you, or those that need to be changed, those things that we absorb as children. We don't always know why we feel the way that we do. And this, through some, again, a series of questions and so on, you get to identify what it is that is kind of playing as a default in your mind, and you can change it. You can absolutely change it once you identify where it has come from. So that's another really good course. And there's others. So by all means, take a look. Also take a look at the testimonials that are on there from people who have received readings from me, from people who have taken the classes, and see what they have had to say. So just give me a second. Oops. every time that I start to do this show, it's like the guides, everybody's coming in and it manifests in a runny nose. Out of all the things that they could have picked to let me know they're here, a runny nose was never on my bingo card. So I also have my orange juice at the ready, just in case. For those of you that were with me last week, I had to shut down a little early because my blood sugars were a little funky. So I have my apple juice and I have my dextrose tablets just in case. So there. Hello, TW. Hello, Selma. Did I say hi to Joan Baker? I hope I did. I hope I did. Welcome, Joan. So, yes, last week was a little bit of a challenge, and for those of you who don't know, I'm a type 2 diabetic. So, I pay attention to my blood sugars and so on. And if every once in a while, whether it's something, whether it's stress related or whatever, but my sugars might plummet a little bit. And generally, my kind of warning is my lips will start to tingle. And at that point, the only thing to do in that particular case is, yes, either apple juice or dextrose tablet, because the idea is to raise the blood sugar quickly. So there are certain things that having a drink of soda or pop would kind of be a last resort. You want to go to something, something else. So that kind of gives you a little idea of how things work. And I know last time I did have someone suggest that, I should have I should have some meat, which is a good idea. Absolutely. It's protein. It's just at the moment, the idea is to raise the sugar quickly, not give it time to go through the system and do all that kind of stuff. So I absolutely appreciate everyone's concern. Thank you. Thank you for reaching out, making sure that I was okay. But just to, give you a little heads up. I've been at this for probably about 30 years. So I have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing. Okay. All righty. There you go. I will say, Salama, thank you very much for that, for posting a question, although this is a show where we don't take questions. I'll basically be sharing with you the whatever messages that Spirit has given me today to share with you. So that's what it is. I don't do any questions during this show. And hello, Book. Nice to see you here. I'm so glad you joined us. Okay. So I think that takes care of some of the things. Oh, I will remind you that I'm on again at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tonight with the Golden Girls Coffee Clutch. That's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to be on with Linda G on her channel at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's 1 p.m. her time. And then at 5:30, I'll be on with Colleen at the Cool Chrome for the Cool Chrome readings. And at 8 p.m., Allie is going to join me for Story in the Cards. So really looking forward to the rest of today and tomorrow. And of course, most of you know that this month's Shine Your Light event, I had to cancel it for this month. So, but we'll be back in March. Okie dokie. All right. So one of the one of the messages that I received today as I was kind of getting ready was that there's I am not the only one that is going through this feeling of either unease or confusion, fogginess, and so on. We are all of us, particularly those that are light workers and empaths. We're we're going through some portals. Okay, we're going through things that um, that are getting us into that 5D dimension. So it takes a little while after we get the downloads for them to kind of process through our system, right? It doesn't. The downloads happen quickly, but how we integrate them and how they're integrated into our DNA and our system, that takes a little longer. So while that process is going on, there are physical changes that you will go through. Um, Either lack of sleep or sleeping too much, that brain fog, confusion, that something that you used to know, and all of a sudden it feels like, oh, how did I forget that? Why don't I know that? That's also part of it as well. And your intuition is going to be heightened. Your sense of self and your sense of those around you is also heightened. So you're seeing things in other people that you might have missed up until now. So it's not unusual to kind of look around and go, well, that my friend Susie is a little opinionated. Where did that come from? What has she always been like that? It's just that heightened awareness. So yeah, just be aware that that is part of what's going on. And yes, we are going through the different portals. And why are we doing that? Well, because we're getting close to star consciousness. We're excuse me, we're remembering more and more who we are, and that we are part of the galactic family, that we are part of, yes, that star consciousness where we are, each one of us is a puzzle piece in the whole picture, and we're all reliant upon each other. So we are everyone, and everyone is us, if you will, in a sense. So um, that just helps us to remember who we are. So if you start having feelings that maybe you haven't had before and you're wondering where they're coming from, just go with the flow. Let them come in and see what the messages are behind that. You might also have some weird dreams. And if you can, remember to write them down and do it before your feet touch the floor, because once your feet touch the floor, boom, it's gone. And then review it, after several hours. Review it the next day and go, oh, that's interesting, and see if it doesn't bring up any more memories. So sometimes a word or a phrase will jog things, and you'll be able to get more information from there. So that's something else that's happening as we are connecting to the star galaxy. Uh, all of it, all of the things that we are Prince Harry, directed by Steven Spielberg. Oh, Karen, woohoo! That would be a nice dream. That would be lovely. And hello, Jackie B. Reading and book. You're feeling such profound gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. You are part of us and we are part of you. Absolutely. So totally get that. Um, so, okay. The reason that all this is happening is we are getting closer and closer to, to that higher love, realizing that that being able um, to love everyone, being able to even those people that sometimes are like fingernails on a chalkboard to your soul, um, to observe them without judging them, and to recognize that everyone is on their own journey. They're learning their own lessons, and they're learning them at their own pace. And um, we can't make them learn something at a quicker pace than they're able to absorb, right? Just like a baby first needs to learn how to at least lift its head, and then it gets on all fours, and then it rocks back and forth, and then it starts to crawl, and then it starts to walk. You don't see it raise its head and say, okay, well, start walking, right? Everything has its time and its purpose. And what we are, not only in terms of that, recognizing and being part of that higher love, is we're also at the stage of conception. And what this card tells me is, yes, we are very much creating the world that we want to live in, creating the realities that we want to be part of, that we want to participate in. And it's not a case of something being right or wrong. It's simply observing what is going on. You can pay attention to it. You just don't have to absorb it. You don't have to make it, part of your daily existence, unless you want to. So it makes it a little easier to look at some of the things that we are hearing, and to look at some of the information that we are gathering without letting it play with our emotions. And I think that going forward, that's going to be very important, that we need to approach things from a very heart-centered place, so that those that are just waking up, those that are just making the connections, that they're going to feel that talking to us is a safe place, that we can we can embrace them, we can welcome them, we can talk to them. We don't have to judge them. I think that a lot of people, over the next little while, as they get closer to that star consciousness, as they start to realize how we are all connected, it's going to be difficult for them to have to admit that maybe they got some things wrong. Just like, we're, as light workers, as empaths, as being spiritual beings, we're not always right. We do get things wrong sometimes. We do, when we're reading tarot cards, or when we're oracles, or anything, when we're tuning into anything, we're reading symbols. And sometimes we can misinterpret those symbols. So, we always need to be aware of that, and to allow others that space, right? And that the more welcoming and non-judgmental that we are towards them, that the quicker will be their learning, right? Because they will do it with a glad heart rather than being forced into it. And as everyone knows, you try to force someone into something, they're going to fight you every step of the way. They may get there eventually, but it's not going to be an easy journey. So, we're going to make it as easy for everyone as we can. And yeah, I do want to say, hold on. Yeah, Joan Baker, yeah, says, I feel like I'm starting to see how people truly are these days. Yeah. And the trick is that, it's they haven't really changed. Our perception of them has changed. So, we're always mindful of how we perceive others. Maybe how we might make them feel, how and why it's important to be non-judgmental. Like, none of us want to be judged for anything that we do. And sometimes some people's lessons are very public and other people's lessons are very private. It doesn't make them any less profound or any less educational or any less traumatic in some cases. It's just some are there for us to witness as a collective, and others are kind of a little hidden in the background. But none of us is perfect. None of us has all the answers. And it's in the gathering and sharing and openly listening to what someone else has to say, and doing that conscious listening where you truly hear what they're saying, rather than, oh, yeah, they said a couple key words, and I have a rebuttal to those key words. So I'm just repeating what that is to myself in my head, so that as they draw a breath, I can say, yeah, but, right? So there you go. Yeah. And you guys, I absolutely love the fact that you're chatting with each other. That is fabulous. And yeah, I must tell you, I had an experience. Yesterday. Anybody who tuned in to the Sisters of the Mystical Tarot yesterday knows that we were having issues with StreamYard, with YouTube, and all kinds of different things. And so I was trying to fix it after the show, and finally got to the point that I thought, okay, well, I'm going to have to clear my cache. That's all there is to it. So that's what I did. It didn't take very long. Boom, it was done. It was clear. Thought, okay. And then I couldn't get into my YouTube account. I couldn't get into my StreamYard account. There were several others that I couldn't get into. And I was starting to get more and more flustered about, what have I done? Oh my God. So I was starting to panic, and I realized as I was starting to panic that, okay, trying to solve a problem from a panic situation mind isn't going to help. I'm just going to go around in circles. And I'm not going to do myself any favors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the computer off. I'm going to leave it until the next day, today. And I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to put on one of the Netflix series that I've been watching, That's what I'm going to concentrate on. And every once in a while, when an idea would pop in, well, why don't you try this? No, 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 tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'll deal with it tomorrow. So I tried again this morning, went through my routine. It still wasn't, I couldn't get anywhere. It just wasn't making any sense to me. And when I mentioned earlier about the brain fog and, how come I don't know this? I should know this. Yeah, went through that as well. And then for some reason, I remembered way back when, in my banking days, how whenever I was trying to balance something, and if I couldn't get it to balance, after trying 2 or 3 times, I couldn't make it work. I couldn't see it. The trick was to bring in someone else and say, "Hey, can you balance this for me? Here's my," that was, when we had adding machines and you have the tape. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, here's my adding machine tape. Here, go in there. Oops. Sorry. Sorry. What was that all about? Just a second. Okay. Earring fell out. So, yeah, I would bring in someone else and I would ask them to go through it. And more often than not, they could take a look at my tape and they could take, as they're going through whatever it was, whether it was a form or bills or something, and they right away, first time out. Oh yeah, here you go. That's what it is. Yeah, you had 37 instead of 93 or 73 or whatever. And I would think, oh my God, I saw that so many times. And how did I not? Anyway, yeah. So that ultimately, that's what it was. After I remembered that, I thought, okay, you know what? Just go back. Go back. I was digging up some information when my son came home from work early, and I was telling him what I was going through, and he said, "Oh, well, did you check your email address? Are you using the right email?" And I went, "Yeah, of course." I went back and checked. Yeah. That was the whole issue. Once I used the proper email to go with the account, everything was back up and running, and it's like, yeah, there you go. See? So those are some of the things that we're going to encounter over the next little while. Some of the things that are going to make us stop and pay attention to what we're doing, to really be present when we're doing what it is that we're doing. So anyway, whatever issue was there with StreamYard and YouTube yesterday, knock on wood, seems to have resolved itself. So, okay, hold on. Okay, that feels better. So, I think the message that I got about going through all those things, I think that is very much how some of the things that a lot of people are going through. What about you guys? What are you going through some of the same things? Are you encountering some of the same little hiccups and whatnot? And don't forget, yeah, Mercury goes retrograde tomorrow, but we've been feeling it the last couple of days. So, there's always that Mercury retrograde happening. But, for you guys, how are some of these changes manifesting in your life? That you're encountering, that share with others, because they're when we share that information, it just brings more people on board, and they say, yeah, yeah, I've been going through the same thing. I've also been dealing with blah blah blah. And then, you know, all of a sudden we end up walking away with a lot more information than we had, and particularly with validating that we're not doing this alone, right? We're all in this together, right? We're all going to end up in the same place. And you've heard me say it before. Um, some some people are flying to the destination. Some are taking a train. Some are on a bus. Some have decided they're going to drive. Others are walking. So we're all on the same journey. We're just going to get there at different times. So, oh, MGG says, yeah, I've been dropping things for days. Yes. Yes. That, yeah, where it's almost like, you, you, you know how to hold a glass. You've held one before, right? But now all of a sudden it's like your fingers forget. Yes. Thank you, MGG. That's very true. Very true. And Dib says, in the past few weeks, I've been on a writing binge. I've put off my novel for over 15 years. Today I'm currently on page 284. Yes. Yes. See, there you go. That's taking advantage of some of that energy. That's fabulous. It's fabulous. And Karen says, communication issues. My team is having the same issues. Yes. Yeah. And especially during a Mercury retrograde, because the Mercury is all about communication. That's when things get misunderstood. What you're thinking in your head and what comes out of your mouth, sometimes there's a little bit of a disconnect, and you don't realize that what you've said isn't what others have heard. So yeah, there's you know, we have to be compassionate with each other. We have to be understanding, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. And especially the dropping things. Oh, well, you just saw me. You just saw me. I swear I did put that earring in, just like I do every other day. But today was the day that it wanted to come off. Yeah. And yeah, Book says sharing our new issues and joys part of our platform. Yes, we're responsible to use them completely. Feel stupid and bitchy. Yes, yes. You're allowed to feel all the feels. Just because you are spiritual doesn't mean that you don't give in to the human side of things. You know to have those days where you overreact, or yes, you get a little bitchy with someone. It's part of the experience. Yeah. And Diane Miller says, I've had some very vivid dreams working alongside groups of people. Yes. Yes, that is part of your galactic teams, and you'd be surprised how many teams and councils are out there, and they each have a different function. So I bet, Diane, that after those dreams, when you wake up in the morning, you don't really feel very refreshed. You feel like you've been working all night, which you have been. So that explains the tiredness. Yeah. And I spill Book says, I spill so much I have begun to carry paper towels on my walker. Yes. Totally get that, Book. Absolutely. And Diane Miller says, yes! Exclamation point. Exactly. If it gets and if anyone else is having some of those issues where you're dreaming that you're working with other people, you probably are working on a council. Okay. So If it gets to the point that it makes you too tired to function during the day, you can certainly, before you fall asleep, once you get into bed, calm yourself down, take those, cleansing breaths, and get yourself a little situated. And then you talk to your team and you say, you know, of course, you pick the words that match you. But what I had to say to my team was, I really appreciate the fact that I'm working with you on, we're upgrading people's DNA. I appreciate that. I know that it's very important work. Um, and I'm certainly willing to put in the work. However, where you are on a different plane than I am, I'm dealing with a human body, and that human body needs certain things in order to function, to be able to do things on on this earth plane. One of them is sleep. I need to get a good night's sleep where I'm not working. So, um, I'm willing to work with you on Thursdays and Saturdays. The other days, I need to be able to take care of this human body, and you'll be surprised how quickly they accommodate and say, "Oh, okay, yeah." So, um, and yeah, you'll at least be able to sleep. Yeah. And and Karen says, my poor team members drove into work when he was supposed to work from home. Another forgot his ID to swipe. Yes, swipe into the building. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm sure that you guys heard me on some of the other channels or the other shows where I was talking about um, there is Dawn Turner is a friend of mine. Look at that. Look at that. I say her name and boom, there she is. She shows up. I was just going to talk about you, Dawn. Uh, yes, what Dawn and I, as well as our friend Kim, the lady who does a fabulous job on my nails, and our other friend Audrey, we've been getting together regularly once a month on a Sunday to try out new restaurants, to try out new cuisine, new foods, different ethnic foods, whatever. We're all adventurous. We're all up for for the excitement. And I had over the weekend, I had made this tort. And for those of you who don't know, a tort is and it's a European cake, but it's where you're used to the concept of a cake being, two, maybe three layers. A tort is generally a lot of layers, like 7, 8, 10. Okay, but they're very, very thin layers, and they have a lovely filling that goes between them. Anyway, I had worked on this thing over the weekend, and on Sunday, I thought, oh, this is fabulous. So I'm going to I'm going to share this with the girls because the tort that I made was, rather large. So I cut it all up and I put two pieces of the tort into Rubbermaid containers, got it all ready, put it into this lovely little bag that it fit in there perfectly, and I'm going to take that and share it with the girls at lunchtime. And I took my purse and walked out of the house, and halfway there I went, oh shit, because I'd left it at home. So yeah, it's that kind of stuff. That's what you do. Yeah. So, but I'm yeah, and it it's really tasty. I must say. I must say it is very tasty because it's not um the the filling in it is I find most icing to be very, very sweet. And especially like bakery icing. I have a hard time digesting it. So, the filling for a tort is much, much lighter, and it involves you cook the filling. It's basically made with milk and a little bit of flour, cornstarch, um, and a few other little things that go in it, and you cook it. It's almost like we used to cook the old-fashioned puddings. It's kind of like that. And yeah, once it's cooked and it's thickened and whatnot, you have to let it rest. So you cover it with saran wrap, and you let it rest until it is cold, until it is, well, room temperature, let's say, right? So that it's no longer hot. And then you whip up some butter with a little bit of flavoring, and then you add this pudding mixture into that, and it just creates the loveliest, fluffiest filling that that isn't overly sweet. I think altogether in the whole thing, I think there's maybe 3/4 of a cup of sugar in the whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Enough about my culinary abilities. Let's get back on topic. So yeah, and Haxora, thank you for joining us. Uh, we'd thank you for being here, even if you're late. You're still on time. And Book says, "What fillings?" I'm dozing for tres leches. Oh, yeah, yes, yeah. I will. Yeah, I will. I can maybe share that filling recipe with you guys if you want. Just let me know. Just send me an email. Uh, heartcentertarot@outlook.com, and I'll send you the filling and the instructions. It's quite easy, really, when you think about it. It's a little time consuming, but what you get at the end of it is, wow, it's really, really nice. Yeah. Ah, and Hopeful Ginger. Welcome, Hopeful Ginger. Nice to see you here. Thank you for joining us. So, yeah, that's kind of what's been going on here. And I'm really, honestly, I'm really missing my partner. So like I said earlier, I hope that Val is having a fabulous time and is totally unplugged from everything. And yeah, I look forward to hearing all about her adventures and what she did. And but more than anything, I hope that she was just able to lay back, relax, right? Get in the sun a little bit, go for a little dip in the pool or in the ocean, and just relax. So there you go. And so are any of the rest of you wanted to share in terms of, some of the stuff that is going on? And we're all experiencing, different things. Uh yeah. Dawn, yeah, pudding filled cake sounds necessary. Yes, look, oh, it, I swear to you, put in the effort and make that icing once and use it on your cakes, and you'll never want to go to traditional icing again, because it just, yeah, they're lovely. They're lovely. So for um for those of you that are feeling like you're being pulled towards something, um, listen to the messages that you're getting. Listen to some of the things the thoughts that pop into your head. Um, You might have memories of, maybe something that you did in your childhood or something that you did as a young adult, and you'll ask yourself, "Why did I give that up again? Why did I stop doing that?" Allow those things to come in, examine, um, ask yourself questions. Why did I give that up? What was going on in my life that I thought that was no longer important? Does it feel like it's important? Is that something that I can go back to? Is it something um, that I can pick up on and, kind of go with? I think a lot of people are discovering that things that used to bring them joy when they were younger, um, that they're going back to those things, and they're finding that there is much more enjoyment in them. And those are all things that not only do we need to re-examine and kind of allow ourselves permission to do some of those things again, but maybe we gave them up because the timing wasn't right, or we were missing the next step in whatever it was that we were doing. Now we're ready to take that next step. So, yeah, listen to those voices. Yeah. And yeah, Dawn said, yeah, life has been so hectic here since I saw you on Sunday. Yes. Also, friends of mine, their lives have been so weird with implosions. Yes. And that is a lot of that Saturn and Pluto energy that is coming up, that were the things that we thought were settled. Um, and weren't really, um, if they weren't really properly settled or released or whatnot, they're coming up again. And now we have to deal with them. And it's very often in relationships, it's we see something in someone that may give us cause for concern, or may make us question how the relationship is going, and then we talk ourselves out of it, or we allow others to kind of cloud our judgment and make us believe that, well, maybe we're really not as unhappy as we think we are, because when you consider this situation compared to others, really, why am I complaining? Oh, I'm just asking too much. And so you carry on, right? Um, for those things that aren't really working, that aren't serving your higher self, that aren't serving your purpose in the manner in which it deserves to be um, observed or honored, those things are coming up again. And so we're finding that, maybe a little while ago, I wasn't ready to say, you know what, the fear of being alone isn't nearly as bad as the fear of not living my authentic life is. And so now we're we're acting on those things that we kind of pushed aside over the years. So it's not unusual. Yeah. Um, yeah. That's what it is. So relationships aren't going to change. And yeah, I can't remember who it was that said earlier. Um, oh my gosh, about yeah, seeing people for um, really seeing them for what they are. So Yeah, that's it's and like I said, it's not that they've changed, it's our perception of them has changed. So, um, you know, we can talk ourselves into a lot of things. We can justify a lot of things to ourselves. And it may work in the short term, but there comes a time when you have to say, really? Do I really, really believe that? Do I really want to go along with that? And then kind of making the necessary changes, right? And yes, yes, Don, that how we manifest? Yes, we ask for what we actually want. Yes. So if that is a filling and icing, of course you can have them both. That's up to you. Yes. Oh, yeah, her earrings. Yeah, one of my earrings went flying earlier. There you go. Yeah. Oh, you'd have fun, but playing in my jewelry box. There, it, yeah. There's there's a lot. There's a lot there. A lot that I really love and a lot that um, I cherish, and a lot that has gone from my home to other new homes where they hopefully are being just as valued. Yeah. Uh, and Dib says, yeah, what's wrong with the world, mama? People living like they ain't got no mamas. I think the whole world's addicted to the drama, only attached to things that bring you trauma. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Where is the love? Each and every one of us. Yeah. We all do that. We bring the drama, we live the trauma, we go through the whole kit and caboodle. And this is something that is so new to all of us because we have never gone through this before. This is the way that the planets are aligning and the things that are happening haven't happened for thousands of years. So there isn't anything that we can go back to and say, well, the last time that this happened, this and this and this happened. So this is we don't really have a reference point, if you will. So we're going to need um, to find some key ways to mark all the things that we're going through so that those who are coming after us um, are going to know why we did what we did and the decisions that we had to make and how um, for thousands of years we have been acting a particular way and accepting certain things, and that we all had to gather and consciously make a choice that the answer is not more, the answer is love. The answer isn't the accumulation of material things. The answer is in the soul. The answer is um, in spreading the love that's in your heart to everyone, everywhere. Um, and that those things, the feelings, are a little more important than the things, right? So, all right, my darlings. Well, we're at 55 minutes, and so I'm going to leave you with that. And I I hope you enjoyed the conversation today. I can't wait for next week when I can feel whole again, um, and have my partner in crime back. I hope I have not embarrassed her too much over the last two shows. And if I did, well, it's not my fault. It's her fault for going on vacation. That's my story. That's the way I'm going to say it anyway. So, all right, you guys, Have a fabulous rest of the evening. Don't forget, I'll be back on at 7 Mountain Standard Time um, for Golden Girls Coffee Clutch. So be sure to join us. And that's me, Cleo the Seer, Sherry Voices from the Swamp, and Judy of Judy's Healing Fire. So there you go. Oh, J Cat Lady, I'm sorry you missed it too. And you can always watch it in replay. Okay. Don't forget, guys, like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you later. Take care. And